I really wanted just to let you guys know that I ended up running into Marcus Epps over the weekend. I went up to him. I told him I'm a big Raider fan. I know exactly who he is. And he took a picture with me and my son, which was really cool. He was talking to my son, asking him if he plays football. My son was starstruck. He was really happy that he got to meet a real Raider. And before he left, I left him with this one question. I said, hey, before you leave, can I just ask you one question? How you feel about Coach AP? Is he the guy? And he straight up said, I fuck with him and we fuck with him. And that's all I had to hear, guys. What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to this channel and you would like to support the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that like, hit that bell so you're notified every time I come out with a brand new video. And also, leave me a comment. Let me know if you like what I'm doing or if you don't. Well, Raider Nation, the Raiders were on a bye this week. And even though they didn't play, there's a lot to get into. So, without further ado, let's get straight to it. Over this past weekend, the Pac-12 championship was held in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, and our coach, Antonio Pierce, and our GM, Champ Bailey, were both in attendance. They were in attendance not only because the game was a Pac-12 championship at our home stadium in Vegas, but also because the game featured two of the top quarterbacks coming out of next year's draft, in Oregon's Bo Nix and also Washington's Michael Penix Jr. Both of these quarterbacks have plenty of experience starting at the quarterback position. Both of them have attended college for more than 4 years. And also, they have both transferred from the school that they originally decided to attend to. Bo Nix transferring from Auburn and Michael Penix Jr. transferring from the University of Indiana. Both of them have more than 4 years of football college experience. Bo Nix was a true freshman. He started right off the bat. But Michael Penix was a redshirt freshman. And then he started his second year, but he immediately got hurt. He's already suffered 2 torn ACLs in college. So he might be a little bit injury prone, but nevertheless, he's still a Heisman Trophy finalist. And he's even going to be a first round draft pick in next year's draft. Hence, we need a quarterback. So maybe one of these quarterbacks will be the future of the Raiders. Personally, I would pass on both of them. With the end of the season nearly approaching, a lot of mock drafts have us taking Michael Penix in the first round. Like I said, I would personally pass on him. He's a little bit injury prone with having 2 torn ACLs in his college career. And as far as Bo Nix, he's a little bit aged. I think he's 23, 24 years old. He'll be 24, 25 when the draft comes around. So he's a little bit up there in age. Similar to our quarterback, Aiden O'Connell. He's already 25 years old and he's barely a rookie. So I would like to get someone a little bit younger, maybe a Jaden Daniels. But hey, that's further down the line. We'll talk about that when the offseason comes around. With 13 weeks already done in the season, the Raiders remain a long shot to make the playoffs. They are currently at the 13th playoff spot. The top 7 get to go to the playoffs. So right now we're 6 spots behind, but we're only 2 behind in the win column. We have an uphill battle. And although a lot of people want to throw in the towel already and play for next year, tank for the draft, I personally say hell no. Let's see just how far we can go. Let's see if we can go on a run. Let's see if Coach Antonio Pierce can get these boys to rally and beat the teams that we have to beat. The Minnesota Vikings we got on the schedule. We got the Chargers coming up next. Those are 2 beatable teams that we could definitely win. Let's see what Coach AP could do. Let's see if we could beat these teams coming up, and let's see how we fare and how the playoff standings will be after 2 weeks. Because if we're in it and we're only a game back, or if we're tied with 7 wins for that 7th playoff spot, hey, all bets are off, and let's just see how far we can go with this team. As far as Coach Antonio Pierce, I really feel like it's going to take us going 4-1 or even 5-0 in these next 5 games for him to retain his job. I don't think 3-2, which eventually would finish us off with 8-9. I don't think that gets him the head coaching spot. I think if he goes 4-1 or even 5-0 in these next 5 games, he definitely has an argument to remain the head coach. And personally, I want him as the head coach. We as an organization need stability. We can't continue to turn over a head coach every 2 years. This defense is definitely playing a lot better than they have in years past, and that's credit to Patrick Graham. Why not keep this defense? Why not keep this coaching staff for the most part, and just upgrade an offensive coordinator? I feel like we're just an offensive coordinator away from really making things happen. We're only really a quarterback and an offensive lineman away from really making some noise in this AFC. I truly believe that. I've been getting a lot of feedback and a lot of comments that Coach AP isn't the guy, that he can't make halftime adjustments, that all this hoorah about him listening to NWA and him being born a Raider is just for show, and that us Raider fans don't know what we're talking about. But honestly, he beat the teams he was supposed to. Everyone had us beating the Giants and the Jets with or without Josh McDaniels. So what did he do? He beat the first 2 teams that he had to beat. The next 2, as in Miami and Kansas City, no one had us beating those teams. And what did he do? He had us in the fight against Miami. We had 3 chances in the fourth quarter to either take the lead or tie the game. So that's a win in itself. No one had us beating those games. No one had us flying all the way to Miami across the country and beating the #1 scoring offense at that time. No one had us beating them. And what did we do? We sure as hell put up a fight. Our defense came to play that day. And like I said, we had 3 chances to either take the lead or win that game. As far as the Kansas City game, once again, no one had us beating Kansas City. But what did we do? For the first 3 quarters, we were in that game. Shit, we jumped off to a 14-0 lead. Yes, I know we gave up like 30-something unanswered points, but that was because our offense can't get anything going. I really feel like our offensive corner put us in a bad spot, calling too many screens, calling way too many obvious running plays in obvious running situations. So we beat the 2 teams we were supposed to, and we lost to the 2 teams that no one had us beating. So quite honestly, he's done just what he's supposed to. There's 5 games left. We just came back from the bye. Let's see how our Raiders are prepared against a Minnesota Vikings team without Kirk Cousins, with a quarterback that just threw 4 interceptions on his last time he played. So let's see just how well we fare against this Minnesota Vikings team. And that brings me to the next point. We got 5 games, 4 of them that I really think we could win. The only game that I really think the team is better than us is Kansas City. I think we could beat the Colts in Indy. I think we could beat the Denver Broncos at home. So with all that being said, guys, I really feel like Antonio Pierce could be our coach. Let's just see how he fares against these next 5 teams, if he has what it takes to really be the head coach. Because if he does well, that will give us a great momentum start to the offseason. And there's plenty of quarterbacks coming in the draft. We don't necessarily have to go after a Caleb Williams or a Drake May. We can trade up in the top 10 and get one of these quarterbacks, our quarterback of the future. I'll be damned if Mark Davis doesn't think that's a good idea. I know he wants to win. I know he knows that we need a quarterback. And there's plenty coming out this year in the first round. There's about 5 or 6 potential starting quarterbacks in next year's draft. And we, the Raiders, could potentially get one of these guys. So let's just see how the season ends before we write off Coach AP, because I personally would love to keep this guy as our head coach. So before I end this video, I really wanted just to let you guys know that I ended up running into Marcus Epps over the weekend. I went up to him. I told him I'm a big Raider fan. I know exactly who he is. And he took a picture with me and my son, which was really cool. He was talking to my son, asking him if he plays football. My son was starstruck. He was really happy that he got to meet a real Raider. And before he left, I left him with this one question. I said, hey, before you leave, can I just ask you one question? How you feel about Coach AP? Is he the guy? And he straight up said, I fuck with him and we fuck with him. And that's all I had to hear, guys. So you heard it here first. Marcus Epps and the Raiders fuck with Coach AP. He's got my vote. He's got some of the Raiders players' votes. Now let's just see if the rest of the Raider Nation can jump on the bandwagon and really let this guy be our coach. But it's not up to us. It's up to Mark Davis. So that's it for this video, guys. Let me know how you feel about Coach AP going to the Washington-Oregon game. Let me know how you guys feel about Michael Penix potentially being the Raiders quarterback next year. And until next time, Raider Nation, peace.